So, hi everyone today. My name's Shazia Khan, and the unit we'll be doing is 5.8 Business Ethics. And today's learning outcome is learning outcome 4, which is to be able to assess a current ethical issue in a business. So, before we did this, we did learning outcome 3 in the last session, and that was to look at understanding ethics in the workplace relationship, and that has been recorded for you on Moodle. We looked at in learning outcome 3, it's just a summary of what we looked at. We looked at the relevance of ethics to a business. We looked at business ethics, corporate social responsibility, and sustainability, and the importance of that within a business. We concentrated on the UK Modern Slavery Bill and the definition of what slavery is. We looked at understanding business ethics. We looked at the different business sectors, private, public, and voluntary. We also looked at stakeholders and their position, legislation and accountability to any organisation, and the importance of that when it comes to looking at business ethics. Today, we'll be looking at learning outcome 4, and looking at a current ethical issue in a business. But what we'll also be doing is, this is the last session before your assignment. All the other 3 learning outcomes are on Moodle, and then next session would be your assignment discussion session. Has anyone got any questions before we carry on?
No.
Okay.
No.
So ethics in a business. So when we look at ethics, it revolves around relationships, and these relationships exist between businesses, consumers, and a multiple of social and economic levels. And when we look at business ethics, it defines the relationship between an individual and a business, and may apply to employees, various areas of government, and the community. Why do you think, when we look at business ethics, why do you think it's so important within any business, not just, within a business that deals with just consumers? Why is it important in any organization or business?
It attracts talented employees.
It attracts talented employees, good.
And
Ethically,
enhances also customer satisfaction.
Yeah, customer satisfaction. Ethics, why is ethics important anyway in any society, in general? Why is ethics so important?
Yeah, for me, ethics is very, very important in every business, because, this is about the ethics. So I know that every business, they need someone who's going to be working with them, and they're supposed to have a good attitude when the people come in asking questions about want to buy some product. The more important is customer service, like the ethic, the attitude. I think the ethic in business is the more important.
Yeah. Ethics is important even with not just consumers, with your interaction with an organization, another business, your external, organizations, but also your employees as well. Ethics is very important in regards to that. And when you have good ethics, you have a good business structure. Otherwise, businesses struggle to work. So approaches to ethics. So you've got approach to ethic. We've got the deontological, which is what's right, what's wrong, based on the action itself, and the teleological, which is right or wrong. So it depends on the outcome of decisions. And there's 3 maxims: consistency, human dignity, and universality in deontological. And teleological, you've got 2 theories: econism and utilitarianism. Now, here we're going to look at some examples of ethical issues that occur within a workplace. And the big one, which is discrimination in the workplace. Do you think there's many cases of discrimination within the workplace? Do you think there's lots of cases of discrimination?
You mean the discrimination in the workplace between the college, between the college, or between the customer and the...
No, discrimination between, like the fact that, it could be an employee or a customer. It could be both.
Well, I'm working at the hotel at the moment as a reception. So I'm the first person who always meet the guests when they come in. where discrimination is not always happening all the time, but the one thing is always happening all the time is like the ethic of, I mean,
Yeah.
the attitude
But,
of the,
but discrimination comes in different
yeah,
forms, doesn't it?
yeah,
You
exactly,
know,
yeah,
every business, everyone needs to be aware of anti-discrimination laws and regulations. Now, we must follow them in an organization, because if you don't follow discrimination laws, you are breaching the law. A
exactly.
business,
And
a business doesn't need to receive a complaint from an employee or customer to be fined for violating the Equality Act 2010. The Equality Act is a law which protects you from discrimination. It means that discrimination of unfair treatment on the basis of certain characteristics. So it could be the fact, for example, you know, that you may have a disability and someone's discriminating on you on that fact. You know, that if you're, for example, okay, you are working for an organization and someone else is working for another organization that is in a wheelchair, and you discriminate against that person because of their wheelchair, is that a form of discrimination?
this is a part of discrimination.
Yes. You can't discriminate against people.
That's
And the
correct.
Equality Act 2010 protects people from discrimination in the workplace. So it defines a disabled person as someone who is physically or mentally impairment. And, you know, there's different types of discrimination that occur within the workplace. What other kinds of discrimination occur?
Like female employee being paid less than a male
Excellent,
colleague.
excellent. That is a really good one, Sumit. Discrimination happens where an employer treats one employee less favorably than other. And the example
Yeah.
Sumit has given, if you have a female employee who's paid less than a male employee for doing the same job, or a person from a minority ethnic community being refused the training offered to other colleagues. So, for example, if you're from Pakistan or India, and you've got someone who's a British national, and you are being refused the same training as that British national, is that a form of discrimination?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, you know, discrimination plays a big role within any organization. So, you know, you as an organization need to be really careful that you don't discriminate against anyone, because if you discriminate against people, what happens?
They will be discouraged and will having no interest to do the same job.
Yes, but also, what are you doing? Are you breaching the law?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
You are breaching the law, and you could get into trouble for that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Employees.
discrimination actually means treating someone, as I mentioned earlier, less favorably than someone else because of things like it could be their age, it could be their disability, it could be gender reassignment, it could be whether they're married or have a civil partnership. It could be women that are pregnant that get discriminated against. Race, religion, your sex, or your sexual orientation. And these are regarded as protected characteristics, okay? And they are, you know, protected under the law, and you can, if you discriminate against someone, then you will be, you know, obviously it could go to a tribunal, okay? And under this act, the Equality Act 2010, it protects employees and workers, it protects contractors and self-employed, it protects job applicants and former employees. And when we look at the law, the main responsibility for discrimination lies with who? Who is it, the employee or the employer? Who is the main person that is responsible for any forms of discrimination that happens within the workplace? The employee or the employer?
I think employee.
Employer, yeah. Employer, they should make sure that you do not unfairly get discriminated in the workplace. They should take steps to prevent any sort of discrimination, and they should protect people from discrimination by others and look after the well-being and the duty of care of the employees. So they have that duty of care, you know. there's different types of discrimination. Harassment can be one discrimination, victimization, indirect and direct discrimination. And a big one that's come out recently is, you know, the age discrimination. People get discriminated quite a lot on their age. Why do you think that's a big thing? What do
About the age?
if you go for an interview, yes, and you are 45 years old, and I go for an interview and I'm 21 years old, okay? And they give me the job. What is that? Is that discriminating against because of my age?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are they trying to say?
They will say that 21 years age person will be a young, energetic, and will do a work.
Yeah, yes, yes.
I mean,
And that
motivated.
happens a lot. Sorry?
And law will,
Do you think that happens a lot?
yeah.
Yeah, it does. It happens a lot where people are discriminated on the basis of their age. And it shouldn't happen because, you know, in the UK, we protect from age, disability. But, you know, if someone's treated differently because of their age, then, you know, we need to look at the law around age discrimination where someone's treated unfairly. The next one we've got is unsafe working conditions. Why is that a really important one? And we'll look at that a little bit more in regards to unsafe, you know, working conditions. Why do you think that's so important?
Well, for me,
Health and safety at work.
yeah, the health and safety for me is number one. I mean, every time before you sign the contract, they always ask the second safety in the working place. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on what kind of job you're doing. Usually, most of people working in construction. This is the more important for safety for them to do some job. I forgot
Yes.
to call something like a PPP, something like that. Yeah, personal.
I can't hear you properly, Ashton.
Oh, yeah, I'm out there. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm going out, so I'm going to work. So that's why I was not really. Well,
Oh, okay.
I forgot something called PTG, if I'm not wrong. Something like that. PTG, like a health and safety in the working place.
Yeah. Employees, when we look at employees, they have a right. So if you're working in a workplace, your expectation is that you have the right to work in a safe conditions. Okay, so you know you go to work, Summit or Ashung, and you expect your employer to have a safe condition of working. Employees have the right to a safe working condition based on regulations outlined in the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The Health and Safety Act at Work, 1974, HASAWA, lays down wide-ranging duties on employers. Employers must protect the health and safety and welfare at work of their employees, as well as others on the premises, including temporary workers, casual workers, the self-employed, clients, visitors, and general public. It is an employer's duty to protect the health and safety and welfare of their employees and other people who might be affected by their business. Employers must do whatever is reasonably practicable to achieve this. Employers have a duty and safety law to assess risks at work. So when we look at under UK law, employee is obligated to ensure that working conditions meet standards set by the Health and Safety Executive. If an employee believes that working conditions are dangerous, an employer has done nothing to improve conditions, they could even take the employer to a tribunal. So you've got to be really, really careful that you make your workplace safe, okay? And the conditions in the workplace are so safe. Can you give me an example of an unsafe condition in a workplace? What could be an unsafe condition in a workplace?
For me, I can say like including the food, because I'm working as a hospitality. The company prepare the food
What was that?
as well.
Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm talking about basic my experience. Like I'm working as a hospitality as a hotel. So for the safety, I mean, sometimes the people like like you mentioned earlier, that discrimination, the people coming as a guest, they come here. We have to make sure that there's nothing happening between any like a attack or something like that, because this is always happening in our company. So
Yeah.
we have to make sure that our safety is the number one before it's happening to us. And also the second one, I think, is about the food, because our company provide healthy food for us. So some
Yeah.
people, I heard a lot from another department when they going downstairs to canteen, they try to eat something, but sometimes they get sick because they get a poison, food poison. So
Yeah.
this is the part of the safety as well. So this is
Yeah.
always happening. Yeah. For me, I think it's at the part of like this one is like the food and also yeah,
Summit,
this is
have you
more
got
important.
any Summit, have you got any examples of health and safety unsafe conditions?
Yeah, using unsafe equipments, having
Yes.
like, for example, poor housekeeping,
Yeah. Unsafe
congestion,
like you say,
equipments
not.
using.
What about in a construction firm?
In construction firm, there may
Lex-
be slippery places, sharp
Yes. Yes.
edges, and cracked floors like that.
Yeah. Or you know that you have to wear the right equipment. You know, your helmets, safety shoes.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, these are making it safe. Unsafe conditions can be defined as workplace environment risks to workers that may have not been identified, such as things, you know, like biological, chemical, you know,
yeah,
electrical faults, environmental, mechanical or physical, you know, faults that happen within the workplace. So it could be, you know, that you've got unsafe equipment, you know, you've got a fan on that's not being pat tested, because all this stuff needs to be tested, you know,
yes,
and you know, using like improper tools in a workplace environment, failing to use proper PPE, sorry, protective clothing.
Yeah, PPE. I mean PPE. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Yeah,
PPE.
that's the safety thing, you know. If you don't have correct PPE, you know, it's a safety issue. Also things like, you know, if you're lifting things up in a warehouse, you need to you know, make sure that you are using the proper lifting techniques. Or if you are, you know, if you are cleaning in a working condition and you don't leave a sign and someone falls, so it's your duty as an employer to, you know, make sure that a safe working environment is, you know, that is supported and given to an employee. But it's not just, you know, trying to protect the employee or prevent them from getting any sort of injuries or any diseases. It's about making the employee your first priority. A safe workplace is where one employee feels secure and safe, and company values, and you know, people will talk about the company and say this company looks after their employees very well, you know. So you have to follow a set of rules and regulations, but you know, the law states that you can't be, you know, you have to have these health and safety regulations in place. You have to make sure that you have got a safe working environment and that is properly maintained for the employee and other people. It's just not the employee, it's other people that come into the organization as well. And what kind of other people can come into the organization? As we mentioned, you can have customers, can't you? You can have general public. You can have visitors. You need to make sure this is, and if it's not, you will be breaching the law, and it will be a criminal offence, and it could go to court. Okay, whistleblowing or social media rants. What's this? What's whistleblowing? What does whistleblowing mean?
No, I don't know
It
about
does,
this one.
okay. Okay, whistleblowing is part of the law in UK, okay? And whistleblowing is something that is part of the Employment Rights Act 1996. And it provides that a right for a worker to take a case to an employment tribunal if they have been victimized at work or they've lost their job because they have blown the whistle. A whistleblower, if you're a worker and you report certain things. So, for example, Summit, if you're, I would just give you, I'll give you an example. You are a whistleblower. The meaning of a whistleblower is if you're a worker and you report certain types of wrongdoing, they will usually something you've seen at work, and then you will be regarded as a whistleblower. Okay, so business owners must respect and not penalize employees who are deemed whistleblowers to either regulatory authorities or on social media. Essentially, employees are encouraged and cannot be penalized for raising awareness of a workplace violation. So, for example, Summit, you go and you say to your, you report the health and safety issues to the health and safety executive. You are then regarded as a whistleblower, okay, to the organization, because what they say is you've gone and, you know, you've snitched. That's what they say, you know, you've gone and told the organization, and then you will be regarded as a whistleblower. You should not be treated unfairly or lose your job, even though you reported the organization you're working for is not safe. You shouldn't be rebuked. But employers will then, will employers be, will they be pissed off that you've done this? Will they be angry that you've reported them?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, they will be angry. So a Yelp employee wrote an opinion piece on a blog website that described the poor working conditions at Yelp. The employee was fired for the negative views of that company. However, states are increasingly passing off-duty conduct laws to protect employees for stating opinions on social media when they are not at work. Do you think that's a good thing to talk about your workplace on social media when you are not working? Or, you know, is it good anyway to do that?
For me, yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I mean, this is something like a good
So
opportunity for us.
would you say, Ashun, would you say bad things about your workplace on social media?
I never said about things. Well, usually we all, I mean, the working as a employee, we have something like a group in social media. For
Yeah.
us, I mean, when we work in there, sometimes we don't have time to talk to each other because everyone busy with their own work.
Yeah.
Like I working
Yeah.
with the people, so they're always busy. So for me, this is the best thing for us. Like we always talk to each other via the social media, like sharing the information or something's gonna be happening, and yeah, what's happening before, and you just share everything information and talk to each other for the social media. Until now, we're still doing this one. The reason why this will be
So would you report your organization for certain things that are wrong in the organization, like health and safety?
for the health and safety, sometimes we never post in the in group or in the social media.
Would you report your organization?
Yeah, I always report, but
You would report
usually
them, yeah?
yeah, but if I report it, I never post in the social media. I just call them straight away for someone who on charge, someone who on
Then
charge.
if you report your organization, then you are a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're
That makes sense.
reporting your organization, it's good, you know, for like health and safety issues. If you're saying, you know, people are slipping and falling, you know, sometimes it's a good thing to report your organization, but you know, you should be protected by the law.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sumit, what do you think? Do you think you
Yeah,
should report
sometimes
your
it is.
organization?
Yeah, sometimes it is better for organization. They can improve and move forward, but
Yeah.
sometimes it may disrupt for it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's
And,
difficult, isn't it? It's a difficult situation.
and you know,
Yes.
I can say like I'm a switchblower because I mean I'm the one who working in the company for a long time, so the manager always
Yeah.
trusts me. So they just put me some like a spy. I'm a spy to another college, so I can say like I can tell like myself is a whistleblower. Yeah.
So you're a spy then, yeah?
Yes, because they trust me. They trust me, so they always put me spy. Like, I mean, we're working as a team, so some people, you know what? We're not allowed using our phone with the working
Yeah.
time. They don't allow us to be using our phone, and that's why they always ask me to keep an eye of my colleagues. Like, are they focused
Yeah.
working, or they just playing, or they just talk to each other? So
Yeah.
they just they
So
just
you are a
ask me to
spy.
spy. Uh, yeah, I can say that.
Accounting practices. So a business must maintain accurate bookkeeping practices. The oil giant Enron was exposed in 2001 for cooking the books to misrepresent profits. The deception affected stockholder prices, and many public shareholders lost huge amounts of money because of the ethics violation. The company went bankrupt as a result, and the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, which was valid in the US, was established to protect public shareholders with stricter financial reporting laws. Even small privately held companies must keep accurate financial records to pay appropriate taxes and employee profit sharing, or to attract business partners and investments. UK version of the Act is mentioned in the footnotes. Why do you think it's so important in regards to, accounting practices, ethics? Why do you think ethics is so important in regard to, any sort of accounting practices? Do you think there's lots of organizations, Summit, out there that, cause that obviously are quite deceptive?
Yeah. Without.
Yeah, there's organizations outside that do issues of, fraud and things like that in regards to misrepresenting any sort of profits and things. So it's really, really important that, any organization in regards to accounts is not defrauding the system. Non-enclosure and corporate espionage. Let's just give me 1 minute. Employers are at risk of employees and former employees stealing information. This might be client data used by organizations in direct competition with the company. When intellectual property is stolen, a private company information is sold on the black market. It is corporate espionage. Do you think that happens a lot, where information from a company is sold on the black market?
Hmm.
Do you think
formulas
do you
are
think that's
leaked.
how?
Sometimes product
What's that,
formulas
Sumit?
are
What did you
leaked
say?
and formulas of products
Yeah.
are leaked. So that is a company
Yeah,
property.
so do you think, like stealing trade secrets or intellectual property and giving them to someone else and selling them, that in itself is corporate espionage, isn't it? It's wrong, isn't it?
Wrong. It's
Do businesses out there do that? It's all to do with competition, isn't it?
yes.
They all want to benefit
Because of
from
competition.
it. Yeah.
Because of competition, they steal the secrets.
Yeah, steal trademarks, steal any sort of intellectual property, any sort of ideas. They commit cybercrime, and the reason is because of competition and the fact that they want to get something out of for example, I'll give you an example. If you go to a company and you go as an undercover worker, and then you steal the company's ideas, like maybe Coca-Cola, you steal their recipe or their trade secrets, then you are committing espionage, aren't you? Employers may require employees to sign non-disclosure agreements with stiff financial penalties to discourage these types of ethics violations. Why do you think companies are doing that? Why do you think employees and companies make you or as an employee sign a document, an agreement? Why, if you're working for a company summit and it's a popular company and a big organization, why do you think they will make you sign a non-disclosure agreement?
Because if I leave the job, so I'll be responsible for that company if
Yeah,
I have
I'll
some
give,
secrets
yeah, all
of
their
trade
secrets, their
secrets
trade
or
secrets.
like formulas of the
Yeah,
products, ingredients, what are they
yeah.
using? So I'll be responsible for all the things.
You will be responsible. If you give me the ingredient for Coca-Cola, you will be
Yeah,
responsible for it. So it's theft. It's regarded as theft. One of the
yeah,
biggest violations of corporate espionage exists with manufacturers who outsource technology products in China, where the patents are stolen, engineered, and sent into the markets to compete with other companies that originally hired the factory. Corporate espionage is also known as industrial espionage. Corporate spying or economic espionage. This practice involves the theft of a company's valuable data and information. So where a spy for MI6 acts on behalf of the government to uncover international secrets, corporate espionage occurs between rival businesses. So there are 5 kinds of spying: the local spy, the inside spy, the reverse spy, the dead spy, and the living spy. So these are, you know, organizational geniuses that obviously cause any sort of violations of the company. 4.1. So research a current ethical issue affecting a selected business. And the company we've used is Shell. So Shell Corporation, who runs its business in different parts of the world, has to face different issues like financial problems. And presently, the company is facing challenges. Essential action: boycott Shell 2001. The company started its business in the year 1833. And since that time, it has faced many challenges due to the ethical issues. Nigeria, which is the largest oil producer, helps Shell in its oil business. Shell has faced many charges of violation of human rights in areas of Nigeria after the great incident of the oil spill in Nigeria. The image and reputation of the company was also damaged after that incident. The multinational company of oil company operating its business in Nigeria has to come across many serious problems because the company was not able to provide better healthcare facilities in Nigeria. And this is an example. After the incident of the oil spill in Nigeria, there were many people who come across severe health problems, but at the same time, sufficient health facilities were not provided. The company also faced the issues of child labour. As the condition of the company was regarded, child labour was initiated in the country and the company was involved in it. Presently, the company is facing the problems because it's notable to meet the corporate social responsibility and is also charged due to violating of environmental laws. After the oil spill incident in Nigeria, the species and environment was highly impacted through the challenges occurring in the country, like things like shelter, food, health, economy, and environment. 4.2. Report on how business could improve the ethics of their operations whilst meeting objectives and ensuring good employee-employer relationships. So in order to improve the ethics in the company, Shell Corporation introduced a report on corporate social responsibility and even started giving more attention towards the human rights, which the company has violated long time back. And that was in the resource for that is Wheeler 1998. In response to the question, what the company can do for bringing the change, the report on corporate social responsibility presents the parts of the business principles and how statement of shell about the business principle will be attempted, as in the Wheeler, that's the reference. The company has also organized the cleanup process, which was started in Ogoni, one of the regions of Nigeria, but the issues are still same, as it will take many years to clean up the whole environment, which was severely damaged after oil spillage, and that was the reference Andris and Falkenberg 2010. After this incident, the people don't have access to clean drinking water, but Shell, along with communities, is trying to supply clean drinking water to the people because the water available over there was infected through the corginus, which is known as radiation that causes cancer. Shell also claimed about bringing system, which will help placing the operational activities of the company and abide them with the laws, environmental issues, as well as risk management. The company will also combine the people, plan and process in order to deliver the better performance. There are many companies who try to behave like the corporate citizen, but due to the oil spill, the image of the company was badly damaged because through oil spill, environmental disaster was severe, which impacted the climate. Therefore, for bringing change, it will take time. 4.3, design a suitable ethical code. So an ethical code is referred to as the rule that is taken by the company for showing the manner in which they should behave in the business environment and society. And employees should also require following ethical code of conduct. And that was in Falkenberg and Wiley 2007. In the oil industry, the ethical code of Shell ensures that the company is abided with the laws about health and safety, which should be included in the operational activities in the safe environment without impacting on any harm to all natural resources along with surrounding people. And that was the reference of Bolstrich and Carrington 2000. It is important that employees should be considered by the companies by offering them medical assistance if they are injured during working, and should be entitled for taking sick pay. And that was Brian 2008. The employees in the company should be given equal opportunity regardless of their nationality, gender, race, because this can boost up the confidentiality of the employees. Bolstrich and Carrington. Do you think that was an issue in regard to Shell? Do you think there was lots of issues with Shell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just not ethical issues, environmental, you know, how they treated the staff, how they treated the workers and things. It is true, having the ethical partnership with other companies can lead to avoidance of conflicts. It is significant that companies should not get engaged in any kind of corruption or political issues which state about anything received by the employees. And the company should fill the form, which should depict what kind of investment is made, and should also try to protect their employees and customers. And that reference was Gabriel 2006. Every activity undertaken in the organization should be kept transparent among the stakeholders so that they can understand how the business is operated and how they should also conduct their fair trade in other countries. And that was Falks and Cummins. Why is it important to keep the activity of the business or the organization transparent among the shareholders? Why do you think it's so important? Why do you think it's important to have the shareholders involved? In, you know, in the business organization summit, why do you think it's so important?
Shareholders are important because of investment in company.
Yeah, they should know what's going on with the company, shouldn't they? So, you know, whatever the company they're running, shareholders and stakeholders, should know what's going on in the company, and they should have an active part in how the company is operated and whether the company is trading fairly with other countries.
Yeah.
So
They
these are some
provide
of the
check and
references.
balances.
Sorry?
They provide check and balances on the power
Yeah,
of
checks.
direct.
And why is checks and balances so important, Sumit?
Check and balance is important to run a business.
Yeah. And
There is
Achung
not
is
check
just
and balance, so everyone will be boss.
yeah, that's true. Yes. Achung just said in the chat that the company should know what's happening, shareholders should know what's happening, and stakeholders. And he said it's very important sharing with stakeholders, and that's right. It's really important that
Yes.
shareholders and stakeholders have an idea of what's going on. So we've finished this session now, learning outcome 4. These are the references that have been used in today's session. So we've got Ethics in International Value by Andres, Fockelberg, Ethics in International Marketing, Gabriel, Environmental Costs and Responsibility, Wheeler, Quality of Life, Efficiency, Equity and Freedom, Bolstridge, Do Consumers Really Care About Corporate Responsibility, and Folks and Cummins, Effective Information About Business Ethics. Now, we finished learning outcome 4 now. The next session we'll be doing is assignment discussion. Has anyone got any questions before we finish off today?
No.
Achung, have you got any questions? No questions. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for attending today's session. And I will see you in the final session, which is next week, and that is the assignment discussion.
Okay, sure.
Is that okay, everyone?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I will see you in the next session, which is next Friday, which is assignment discussion.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.